future, talk radio will actually educate, inspire, and make you think. The future is now. Topics and music that affect your life from Universal Broadcasting Network. Tune in at ubnradio.com.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, love, laugh, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Fay on ubnradio.com.
And welcome. You are tuned into my weekly talk radio show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa here at Universal Broadcasting Studios at the Sunset Studios every Tuesday at naturally high noon and every Thursday on my CNBC. Actually, it's not newly anymore. It's syndicated on Thursday at 7 p.m. for your commute pleasure. And that's on AM 1050. Or you can call in free anytime, 832-999-1050. And today is the second week of the month. And so it is that time of the month. It's Call-In Tuesday. And before we get started with our callers who want to get their life wheels, their tires balanced, and their BS smog check, their belief systems, I just want to do a quick shout out to all of my new listeners. Thanks to Jim Beach, who interviewed me and put me on 11 different AM FM stations this week. So we have new 125,000 listeners to Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah, thanks to all of the past Oprah guests that have been on my show, as well as winning some wonderful Asian Entrepreneur and Business People of the Year awards. So welcome to my show. This is a show about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, and no K-words, no Kardashian talk at all. Instead, we focus on what is good with you, what is good with life. And now we are ready to start with our first caller, and she's calling in from New Jersey. Welcome to the show, Lynette. Hello, Lynette.
Hi, Dr. Marissa. How are you?
I am happy, thank you. And how are you?
I am happy as well.
Good. It is a choice. So the first thing I'd like you to do is, you're not driving, are you?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Feet on the ground, palms up. Gently closing your eyes, taking a deep breath in through the nose. And releasing, soft shoulders, soft elbows, soft knees. And a deep breath in again, connecting with me through the breath, chi. And releasing all the stories and the drama. And one more deep breath in. And when you're ready, open your eyes. And from this place of center and balance, I would like you to rate for me the status of your health and well-being on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not so great, 10 being extremely fabulous. How would you rate yourself on your health and well-being?
Oh, I would say maybe somewhere around a 7.
Okay, let's say 7. 7-ish.
7.
And then in the category of relationships, same scale. 1 not so great, 10 fabulous. Where would you say you are in relationships?
Okay, this is where it gets tricky, Dr. Merson. Honestly, I would rather just focus on relationships.
Okay.
But the number, there's a big question mark.
Okay.
I'm having an experience that I'm enjoying, but it has been cumbersome.
Okay. Let's go there. So just for comparison, on the scale of job and career, what would you give yourself there?
Yeah, my job and career is under construction, literally. So,
okay.
But I'm moving forward, and I'm pleased with where I'm at. So I would say, again, probably a 7-ish.
Good. And I only ask because one of the great things about areas that we want to work on is we look at those areas and be grateful and express appreciation for those things that are working well. So you have done that you like where you are under construction. So we'll just take a breath on that one and acknowledge how great it is. All right, and let's focus on the question mark. Tell me why there's a question mark on relationships.
I've always been attracted to men older than me.
Okay.
So I'm currently dating someone who is 8 years older than me.
All right.
So there are some things that come up quite regularly. The whole idea of you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like the idea of calling a man a dog at all, but he can definitely be a bit gruff and grumpy at times, but then he's very introspective, and that's why he's still got my attention.
I see.
He does self-analyze, and I love the way that we communicate.
Mm-hmm.
There are times, though, when he will have a meltdown, and I sense that it's because he's experiencing something in the moment with me that reminds him of the past,
Mm-hmm.
and he's giving it the same meaning as the previous experience.
All right.
He has said things to me like, I am tainted, speaking of himself,
Mm-hmm.
and he has said, I'm scared of most people. Do you know this about me? And I was like, yeah, I do notice that you're a bit nervous.
Mm-hmm.
These are things that normally would make me run for the hills,
Mm-hmm.
because when somebody tells you who they are, you believe them.
Mm-hmm.
But he's been very heartfelt, and he has circled back and made apologies and taken responsibility for where he may have flown off the handle.
Okay.
So, I'm not looking for perfect, but I do like the fact that I'm perhaps working with someone who's perfecting as I am.
Mm-hmm. And how long has this been going on?
Oh my gosh, I've known him for 9 years, but we've had like an on again, off again. And when I mean on and off, I mean like we had about a 6-year gap where we didn't see each other.
Mm-hmm.
And now we've yo-yoed back. And when he returned, I asked him very deliberately, why are you back up on my radar? Mm-hmm. And that usually triggers a meltdown.
Okay.
I don't know where you're going with this. I don't understand what you want me to say. And, I've said to him very, very plainly, I only want you to answer from the truth at the center of yourself. Mm-hmm. And he has responded by saying, okay, I get it. I care. I know you're concerned about whether or not I do care. My response has been, I just want to know that you're a gentle man, and that there's a difference between how you treat me and how you treat others. And then there is that difference in age that I feel that I benefit from, because then he becomes very demonstrative about showing me the meaning of what he's thinking or feeling, more so than giving me a bunch of words, mm-hmm. which is great. I'm learning his language.
Okay. All right. So take a deep breath. And I'm going to ask you a couple of questions that I want you to answer from your heart space. Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
So putting him aside, and let's just put him on a plate and move him over to the right. Okay?
Yeah.
And I'm going to talk to the balanced, centered Lynette. And I'm going to ask you, what are you looking for when you are with someone else? What is it that your soul or your heart seeks when you are with someone, regardless if they're older or younger? What is it that you desire in a relationship? How would you feel if you were in a relationship that you were vibrating at your highest level? What would that feel like?
Okay, I'm going to take you back a little bit, Dr. Marissa.
Okay.
My mom and dad are finally together.
Okay.
In short seconds, I want what they have. I have memories of my parents taking a shower or a bath together, which of course I didn't see, but you know, when they came out, it was her and her African muumuu, and he in a robe or a towel wrapped around his waist. Then they would convene in the living room. My mother would put on the OJ Family Reunion album, and you know, he would sit between her legs, and she would braid his hair, and he would give her a pedicure.
That's beautiful. That's a beautiful, yeah.
That's my joy. I love seeing my parents that way, and I want that. You know, and they would talk about anything, everything, and nothing from that position. And I got to sit and watch them. And then I got to, you know, pounce on my dad's chest or tummy and play with him while he did my mom's feet simultaneously. So, yeah, I want that. I want a very mature, intimate experience with a mate where we do mundane things and talk about profound stuff.
And was it always like that with your parents?
No, but that's it at its best for sure.
Okay.
For me.
Yes, and I want you to remember that statement. That was at its best. So when you have this vision or view of this nirvana of a relationship, and that is what you're holding as the model and the perfect culmination of what you're looking for, do you see the downside of that?
Well, just it can be like blinders.
Well,
so that when the challenges arise, I am blindsided, so to speak. But that's not my experience. I'm just answering your question.
So did your parents have times where they worked through differences? Did your parents have times where it wasn't a pedicure?
Absolutely.
Okay. And so so my hunch is that in your assessment of your relationship now, whatever is good is not necessarily good enough. It's kind of like that, you know, and I do this too, where, you know, I wish you would have said blankety blank, or I wish you would have held my hand when we were walking. And then the guy goes to hold your hand, and you say, yeah, but it doesn't count now because I've told you that. I wish you would have done that at the beginning. So,
and you get that from where? I'm trying to follow you. You
Okay.
get that from where? From something I've said?
well, you have these, you have this very strong picture of what an ideal relationship is and what you want. And so anytime there is something that veers from that, it throws you into the bushes. That's the power of your expectation. So when you're with your guy, when you gave a beautiful, accurate, you know, what works with him and what doesn't work with him. There's a comparison that feels like you're always assessing. Does that resonate? And when
I am always assessing, but I really try to stay in my lane and on my side of the, you know, allowing both of us to have the portions of our relationship that belong to each of us.
So
very easy to do that because he's always assessing.
Right. And I think you're assessing that over analysis is not necessarily helping the relationship. That's what it sounds like. So his responses to you, what do you mean by that? And the meltdowns that you are witnessing, and your, why I'm still here, I think is a habit that keeps you guys from enjoying what you have. So
can I help you understand a little bit about just using that one question of, I don't understand where you're coming from with this, when he responded to something I asked him.
Right.
We had a wonderful evening the night before. I was making some roasted cauliflower and making it into a pureed kind of soup.
Mm-hmm.
And he was sipping on a glass of wine, and he leaned into the doorway and said, I just realized something. You really like me, huh? And I look at him and kind of like, duh. And he goes, but I had no idea. You really, really like me, huh? And I was like, yeah. So he seemed to warm up to the idea and did so in his actions, literally warmed up to me, kind of like came up behind, hugged and snuggled me while I continued to cook.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe a day or two later, I don't know, I might have got a phone call from him. We're talking. And of course I had the thought in mind from the night or two before. So I felt like it's now my turn. And I say to him, remember you asked me about liking you and how much? I'd like to know what do you feel about me? And that's when he goes, I don't know where you're going with this. I don't understand. Mm-hmm. What do you expect me to say? And I said, I don't expect anything other than for you to respond to that from the center of yourself.
So I'm gonna if I said to you, I don't think that this sounds like a match, my guess is then you would tell me all of the good qualities that he has. And if I tell you, well, he has these good qualities and these good qualities, you would say, yes, but he does this, this, and this. So I am your flashlight, and I am just going to have you just close your eyes right now and take a deep breath. I'm going to ask you, do you have fun 80% of the time when you're with him, yes or no?
Yeah, I do. It's when we're away that things kind of melt.
The things that bother you, are they more than 20% of the time? Do you find yourself talking about more of the things that he does well and right and wonderfully? Or do you spend most of your time talking about what he doesn't do or his meltdowns?
No, yeah, I talk more about the good stuff.
The good stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm a believer in the law of attraction. And one of the things, and it applies to relationships, is, how at the beginning things are like amazing. And there's that wonderful little butterfly feeling, and neither one of you can do any wrong. And then after a while, with some familiarity, you see things that you don't like, which is normal because all of us are not. Yeah. But we begin to focus on those things that are not as great. And what happens is, as we focus on those, they become bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then all of a sudden we wonder, why are we in this relationship? So my recommendation for you, my balance tool that I'm going to ask you to use, is just for the next 30 days, only focus on those things that he does well or is why you're still there, just as an experiment. And if you can only see those things and focus on those things, and you don't get to call anyone up and say, I don't know why he says this, I don't know what he does, just for 30 days, and see what happens with the relationship. If it's still the same, and those things that do sound like a little bit of insecurity, if those things are still so big that you cannot turn the light off, then I would sit and ask yourself the question, Why is it that I am in a relationship with someone who does not feel good about themselves?
Yeah.
So that's your, you don't have to do this for another 9 years. You can just do this for 30 days, because that way you are really looking at your side of the street. It is possible that the things that are on your side of the street are maybe overanalysis, overcritical, overjudgmental, or expecting someone to be perfect. I don't think so. It doesn't sound like it. But just to test it, let's only take the good. Let's only see the good. Let's put on our rose-colored glasses with him and only see the good. Only say those things that you know are not going to set him off. Only, and you may be uncomfortable with that because you're not being authentic. And that's something to put in your hat at the end of the 30 days. But I want you to do everything possible to see if you cannot put him in the best and brightest light. And then after that 30 days, if that gives him enough security to get in touch with where he is, then great. If it doesn't, then I'm going to ask you that question.
That's excellent. I can totally do that.
Good.
I would honestly say that I'm already doing it, because
Yes.
I'm catching you up on, we're probably 2 weeks ahead of what I explained to you.
Okay.
Well, actually, about more like 2 months. So, yeah.
Yeah. So just in case. And then what I would ask you to do, whether this works or not, is to kind of carve a little bit off of your traditional statement of, I always date guys older than me, or I, traditionally do that, or, old dog, new tricks, and all of that, and look for men who feel good to you. Because you seem like an extremely bright, strong, you know what you want, loving, you know you want a relationship. And so with that, trusting your own vibration, trusting your own ability to go transcend your mind, because the mind is a tricky thing. I think, therefore I'm screwed. Sometimes we can overanalyze what we think is good for us. I know I'm guilty of that. That's why this show is called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. I need to use this advice, and I am starting to try. So Jarvis is laughing. To regardless of who you're with, to feel into alignment with that person. So first of all, do you treat yourself with that same level of intimacy that you witnessed your parents doing?
Oh, yeah. I'm weird, Dr. Marissa, so totally.
Okay, good.
I've taken what my parents do to a whole other level.
Okay, maybe we'll have to take that down a notch. Otherwise, no guy is ever going to meet that standard. But I'm glad to hear it. I need work on that one. I do. But that's great. That's great. And so let's try that. I'm saying 30 days, even though 21 days takes to create a good habit. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and do that for 30 days. Call me back or email me and let me know. We'll let's fit her in next month's call in, because I'm curious just to see what would have happened in those 30 days.
Okay, that's cool.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Good, Lynette. Well, thank you so much for coming on to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa in the monthly call-in shows, and that's what you're tuned into. Lynette from New Jersey is going to take on a 30-day challenge to only see the best in her guy, letting go of all the past, letting go of all the patterns, letting go of all of the things that he has done so far. So this is where it's going to be a little tricky for you. So all those habits. So if he does say something like, I'm realizing you really like me. You're not going to say, wait a minute, didn't you just say that 2 weeks ago? You are going to hear that for the first time, and you're going to say, yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. And that's it. So it's a chance for you to practice something a little different too. All right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right.
Great. Well, thank you for coming on the air. And that's Lynette from New Jersey. And we don't have our second call ready, but we will do our balance bar announcements now in between the show as we get ready for Jay from LA, who's going to be calling in. The balance bar is, for those of you who don't know, I get to run the 21-day fast from complaining with Dr. Marissa, and it's online. It grew from, July 1st, 2011. We started with about 40 members, and every day for the last 46 months, I post on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and on Twitter a balanced tip to keep you from complaining. And today is day 14, and so today's balance tip is step away from the device. You know, the sign that happens, there used to be a voice when you would hit the car and it would say step away from the device. When things get frustrating, if your computer is going down or is seizing up, if you're calling someone and you keep getting a busy signal, if you are wondering why a project isn't coming through, if you are working on a project and you keep losing it on your hard drive, whatever that frustration is, if we don't step away from the advice, we're going to end up complaining. So if you're on day 14 and you have not complained yet, then today's the day to step away from the device. That way we won't complain. And if you do want to try the next round, it starts on the 1st of May. You can actually start anytime. And I am bringing this bringing the fast on an app. So if you would like to help me do that and produce that, please do go to GoFundMe/HRAXLO. That'll save you from doing a search. And then $5 will get you the app as soon as it comes out. And we are designing it right now. And my daughter and I have a great time figuring out how to keep track of your complaining and not complaining, and little token prizes along the way. So if you wouldn't mind supporting me in that, that would be great. $20 gets you a shout out on the air. So Ann Newman gets a shout out today for donating $20. Thank you, Ann. And you can just help me out there. And we are ready for a commercial break to thank the sponsor of today's show. We have two of them for helping bring the call-in episode where people call in to balance their life tires with me, Dr. Marissa, also known as the kinder, gentler Dr. Laura. We'll be back in 2 and 2. Peace in and peace out.
What if the books you read your children empowered them and built their self-worth? Shine Your Light Books publishes stories for children that encourage love, unity, inner peace, and optimism. Their latest title, Frenzy's Light, is the inspirational tale of a firefly who must decide whether to keep her light hidden or let it shine for everyone to see. Through colorful illustrations and engaging storytelling, Frenzy's Light encourages young readers to be confident in themselves and find their authentic gifts. This beautiful hardcover book is available at www.shineyourlightbooks.com and Amazon.com. Visit Shine Your Light Books Facebook page to see how you can win a signed copy of Frenzy's Light, and let's shine the light on our children today.
You don't have to go to France for a film festival. The Newport Beach Film Festival is in its 16th year of showcasing classic and contemporary filmmaking from around the world. Providing a forum for enriching cultural understanding, Dr. Marissa has proudly sponsored and introduced the Chinese Film Spotlight for the past 3 years. You can get tickets for the April 27th film and gala with Asian food and entertainment at www.newportbeachfilmfest.com. So join Dr. Marissa, the Asian Oprah, at the Newport Beach Film Festival.
And And welcome back. You are tuned in to Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa every Tuesday at naturally high noon on Universal Broadcasting Network out of the Sunset Gower Studios. And they're actually filming Heroes Reborn here today. So I love being out here. And it just is, there's a lot of high vibrating stuff that's going on, and it's the best of Hollywood over here. And on Thursdays, if you miss this broadcast, you can catch me at 7 p.m. for your driving commute home on AM 1050 on my CNBC channel. That's KCAA. AM 1050 in Loma Linda. And yes, if you heard my voice this week already on one of the 11 AM or FM, many of them conservative talk radio channels, I was a guest on Jim Beach's radio school startup, and he's an SBA award winner, and we talked about life and political correctness and all kinds of things around the economy. So if you missed that, you can go to my website, the number 4balance.org, and I'll have that link up very soon. Otherwise, you can go to his channel, which is schoolstartupradio.com, and that's Jim Beach. So I am also, for the Asian Oprah giveaway, you heard on one of my sponsors is the Newport Beach Film Festival, and I am a sponsor for their Chinese Spotlight film, and I'm running a raffle right now. So if you're not on Facebook, get on Facebook to the Dr. Marissa public figure page. And if you like me or give me the finger, just kidding, if you give me the thumbs up, you'll be entered automatically into the raffle. On the 20th of April, I'll be drawing 2 free tickets valued at $80. And it's a wonderful event, great for dates. You get to watch the Chinese film Spotlight. You also get to watch some dancing, and there's great Asian food. You get to get a hug from me. And so if you haven't already, go to my Facebook page and give me a like there. All right. And we are also going to talk next week about addiction. And that is an important topic because it is on the rise. It seems to be on the rise anyways. We don't know if it's just because it's making the press more, but it's an important topic. And as usual, because my show is about solution, my guest to talk about addiction is the Anaheim Lighthouse. And that is a great organization that is helping with the recovery from addiction, all different kinds of addiction. So I will have the president and the psychiatrist that's on staff there, as well as different people talking about the whole manner of addiction, how it is impacting us, and how we can help ourselves and our loved ones heal from the addiction. So that is next week. And I am happy to tell you that the things that are coming up in Sedona the 16th and 17th of May, it's always the weekend after Mother's Day, and you are going to come with me, and I already have 8 women that are coming to learn still meditation and moving meditation on the beautiful Red Rocks in Sedona, Arizona. So if you are looking to deserve a Mother's Day gift to yourself, or just to treat yourself for no reason, then please do sign up. And I have a Facebook event page as well as my website, the number 4balance.org. And I am running a special until May 1st. If you register and pay in full, it's only $500. And if you would like 2 nights at the Los Abrigados Resort and Spa, in addition to that retreat, it is $800. So please do join me in Sedona, and look forward to working with you there. And we are ready for our second caller on call-in week, second week of the month, on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa. Welcome to the show, Jay from LA.
Good afternoon.
All right.
I've been waiting a long time to talk to you.
Oh, good. Let's get you a little applause first. Want you to feel welcome.
Oh, wow. Let me tell you something. I needed that. Listen, that just made my life. That right there was just a transition that I needed.
Good, good. Are your feet on the ground?
My feet are exactly on the ground.
All right, palms up, please, and gently closing your eyes. I'd like you to breathe in so I can connect with you through chi and the breath. Ready? Breathe in. And releasing. Good. And in again through the nose. Soft shoulders, soft elbows, soft knees. And one more deep breath into the heart. Connecting to me. And release all the stories and the drama. Good. And when you're ready, open your eyes. And on a scale of 1 to 10, Jay, I'd like you to assess or give me a number that best describes your health and well-being right now. Your health and well-being. 1 being the lowest possible and 10 being the most fabulous. So where do you feel you are on your health and well-being?
I say 6
All
on
right.
health and well-being.
All
6
right.
borderline 7.
All right, 6.5. And in the area of relationships, on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you like to?
I see myself as a 3.
A 3.
4.
Okay. And on the final job career, where would you put yourself?
I see myself as a 9.
Oh, good. So we were going to express appreciation. That's a great number for that job career area. And whenever you're not feeling the height in any other area, I want you to stop and just be grateful for all the reasons that your job career is at 9, okay? Because that's the way it works. Then anything that's low will want that attention on the high. So let's go to relationships. 3.5. Tell me what is keeping that down.
What's keeping relationships down is I'm at a very good birthquake in my life. I've gone through actually what you're doing, 3 years of practitionership of going to see one. So counseling, I am a testimony, which makes me coming into all the awareness, and I've gone through a birthquake in all my relationships. So in order for me to shift and walk into the light that I have been working through agape, I have been able to sever a lot of ties because the old Jay was a gunny sacker and a people pleaser, and there were so many things in relationships that I was actually a feel person. And through the development of practitionership and of going to see one and developing my business, I was able to develop discernment.
Okay.
So now I'm at a place where this call is so wonderful for me because I'm able to introduce
new vibrations.
New vibration is what it's all
new
about.
Intentions.
It's all is here.
All right.
And yes, ma'am.
All right. So do you like the beach or the mountains?
I love the beach.
All right. So you are on a date and you are on the beach with your date. Now, this can be a romantic date or it can just be a friend date, but I want you to tell me, what would you be talking about that would put a smile on your face?
What I'd be talking about is I'm a Cancerian, and I love the beach and the crabs. So I love the sand, and I'd be talking about the sand and the earth, everything about just the view of the beach. I love it.
Great. And what would your feeling be? What's your feeling tone? Are you happy? Are you delighted? Are you thoughtful? Are you inspired? Are you creative?
I'm all of it. And it's ironic that you say that, Multi. I would feel all of that because of the fact that I would just, every time I go to the beach or I imagine the beach, I get such a home feeling. Like, yes, yeah. So I feel centered.
Okay. And I'll let you in a little secret, Jay. You can get to that same feeling without going to the beach.
Okay, that's what I'm looking for.
Okay. All right. Because I hate to tell you this, but you were right there with me just now, weren't you?
What now?
You were right there with me with
right
the feelings.
There. Yes, my toes
right?
started twinkling like I normally do at the beach.
Okay, and are you at the beach?
No.
Okay.
Well, in my mind I am, because I
Yes.
just closed my eyes and just
Yes.
started visualizing the beach.
Yes.
Mhm.
So that's exactly proving my point. So you get to go to the beach every single morning, whether you are there or not, because I want you to start every morning as soon as you wake up. The wonderful thing about sleep is it stops any negative or downward spiral of any kind of negative thinking. And negative thinking brings our vibration very low. So if we are worried or in fear or in envy or in bitterness or in unforgiveness or in justified righteous indignation when we go to bed, and I know many of us are, including myself, if we are thinking about what somebody said about us or why this didn't happen or what's wrong with this or whatever, when we sleep, we get to reset. But the problem is most of the time when we wake up, we just attract like a magnet all the things that we went to bed worried about. So it is very important. Yes, you are doing this earthquake or a birthquake that you talked about, but we want to make sure that your seismic activity is starting you off on the right side of the bed every single morning. So what you want to do, yes, thanks to Esther and Jerry Hicks for a lot of this. I've been doing a lot of listening to their.
I could just tell. I mean, I just feel such a connection with you. Yes.
Yes.
I mean, I'm resonating everything you're saying.
Good.
Yes.
Good. So just pretend you just woke up, and before you open your eyes, I want you to go to the beach, and I want you to feel your toes in the sand, and I want you to feel the lightness of being, and I want you to feel what it would be like to have high-minded, high-vibrating, inspirational, no gossip, no scandal, no CNN constantly negative news talk. You are only talking about the inspired ideas that you have come up with. You don't know what it's going to lead to. You don't know what's going to happen, but you know that you are going to be in appreciation for all that person is in front of you. So all that you are and all that you have become, we are not going to talk about the old Jay anymore. We're not going to talk about the 3 years that it's been. We're going to talk about now. We're going to talk about everything that is all good and all right about Jay right now. So right now, you are an imaginative, creative, inspired, aware, and you want that same in all the people that surround you. And you cannot help that when you stay at that vibration. What's interesting is most of us go, why is it that I seem to attract people who complain or people who are angry or people who are miserable, and they're always around me? And I hate to tell them, but they are attracting what they are. So if we have had those kinds of relationships in our past, which you have, is to take some ownership of that, Jay, and go, you know what? I was operating at that level. And so they couldn't help themselves. It's not their fault. They were just coming. They were homing to me. I was the homing device. And I have to take that on too, because people cut me off. It's like I used to say, why do I have a sign on my car that says cut me off? And what I realized was my reaction to every time someone cut me off was so powerful that I was attracting that same cutting off. And so in the last month, I've done this experiment. When anytime I got cut off, I would say, bless you, or I wouldn't even notice, or I would say, you know, I do it too. And guess what? I have many less people cutting me off.
I love that. I love that. Do you know, I thank you for what you have just articulated. I want to thank you. I listened to one of your tapes not your tapes, but your interviewer that you had interviewed a couple of weeks ago of a lady who was taking care of her father. And it was my whole story of her business and all she's bringing to the world.
Yes.
Well, I'm a new entrepreneur, and
Wonderful.
I have a patent and a lot of things I'm about to bring to the world.
Awesome.
And everything you had just said to me got through the core
Good.
of everything I have said. I thank you so much for that.
And as Reverend Michael or Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith, founder of Agape, where we both get our positive roots water, what he would say to you is the same thing that he says to me when I thank him. And that is to thank yourself, Jay, because if you were not open to my words, then you would have not resonated. So it takes courage and an openness. You turned your teacup up so you could get filled. So that is, I accept the appreciation, but I turn it back at you to appreciate yourself. And I think I'm sensing that, like me, there's a core lie that goes on with you.
There is a core vibe, because then when I listened to her tape, there was a thing that you had introduced in the first time, which is conscious businesses. I've been working for the last 10 years to put together a business model and patent and things Reverend Michael has been helping me present to the world. And each time I listen to him on Friday, I get fed. And I'm taking care of my parents during the week, so it's wonderful. And listening to you with that, what you had to say as far as conscious-minded business, I was for years putting together business models and programs to develop to the world. But my one entry was the conscious side that I was working so diligently. And you did, because you told me the first thing is the questions I ask myself when I get up out of the morning, showing appreciation to myself at the beach where I feel home, and that feeling tone attracting everything toward me, most of all, me. So I thank you so much, because as I said, I articulated to you, Reverend Michael, I've been there at Agape for 10 years, and each year and each time I come across angels like yourself that come and resonate with me, and it prepared me listening to her, because I knew that after this conversation, I know that I'm going to be able to talk to you about my business model.
Absolutely.
And help people as well as help myself. And
Now,
what you told that lady, work in action, that's what I've been doing. So each word you were saying to me has resonated.
Great.
So I hope your listeners
I am listening. And I'm going to
you talk to me, and I thank you so much, Doctor.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Jay. And here's the thing that I want you to realize, that when you wake up in the morning and you have this feeling of attraction, and you have this feeling of inspiration, and you have this feeling of deep and abiding love for yourself, which is you're growing that so it's the strongest feeling. And most of us, for some reason, have bought into this deep and abiding lie. It's a lie that we're not good enough, that we're not worthy, that we're not fabulous, that we're not incredulous. And if you get a chance, you can listen at the end of the month. I pre-recorded, I get to go to the Bahamas, but while I'm in the Bahamas, you get to hear a show where I am asked by Dee Wallace, the mom from E.T., and she's my co-host on the Sexual Healing Show that's going to air on the 27th or the 28th of the end of this month. And she, I have that same underlying core lie going on as much as I do, and we all do. Jarvis is nodding his head too, and I would say because I do life balance coaching, there are thousands and thousands of people who are listening right now who are nodding their heads saying, yes, why is it that I still don't feel worthy? Why is it that I don't feel like I am wrapped in a warm blanket of worthiness? Why does it feel like I'm not good enough? And somehow, somewhere down the line, in the world that we were brought into, that lie has been the most important lie that has kept us working for someone else. It's kept us
and
working.
You gave me the answer earlier.
Yeah.
You said, Jay, you will have to stop looking in the past.
Yes.
And Reverend Michael keeps telling me the one thing that I have taught myself, and I keep telling myself through this journey, is taking today
Yes.
as a gift.
Yes.
And it's the same as a gift, as a present,
Yes.
as living in the now.
Yes.
So keep it on and on and on. So I keep reprogramming myself to appreciate my gifts and talents instead of, and then staying in that same space allows me to not have any room for the old story or
Exactly.
lie, because I was raised in perfectionist.
Yes.
Everything, which
have-
it serves the purpose because
Yes.
I got the gifts and talents to do what I need to do.
Yes.
I just
Yes.
need to shift that gear.
Yes.
Reverend
And-
Michael says he says shift the gear.
Absolutely. That's just change the gear. They change the car. To heck with the gear. I mean, let's just get out of that car. Quit driving ourselves off of a cliff. That's where sabotage comes from. You know, we grow up with this perfectionism that's a disease. Yes.
I also realize that, like, you have the positive self-talk. It wasn't until recently that someone had sent me the power, the law of attraction, and I amended it and gave it to my family to give examples, and it shifted their lives.
Yes.
They what you focus on, you spend, you
Absolutely.
read, all that, so they understood the power of attraction, so I started speed-footing them. And then I started listening to when you said to that one lady, it's so easy to teach someone else, but when I have to listen to my own advice,
Yes.
I had to stop and I listened to what you had told that lady, and I had to tell myself, which Reverend Michael always said, he says, listen, a doctor doesn't operate on himself or his daughter.
Yes.
So if
And
you're
you
a
don't
little bit close
yes.
to it yourself, talk to somebody else about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And be careful who you talk to.
Absolutely.
That's the wisdom of the community
Right.
of that, what I say, that why the spiritual coaching that I was saying, I was so excited for this call because
Great. Okay, now my head's getting way too big. I'm not going to fit out of the studio, so stop.
That's okay.
You said
but you know
said
what?
thank
It's
you
the
and
truth.
all right, take a deep breath. All right, so you get up in the morning and you're going to, before you wake up, you're just going to go to the beach with yourself, and you're just going to fill yourself with all of that self-love, and you're going to not go to MSU University and make shiitake up about all the bad things that are happening, and you're just going to stay in that place. And then you're going to ask the empowering question of the day. How is abundance going to show up in my life? How is prosperity going to show up in my life? How is inspiration going to show up in my life? How is creativity going to show up in my life? And then you get up and then you watch the miracles that happen. And you continue to do this every day and the miracles will happen. It's law that happens. And you're going to live exactly what you've been living now, that saying. In fact, whenever I do motivational speaking, I always end with this beautiful, beautiful quote that's actually from an unknown, but I get credited for it, so I'm going to take it. And it's the past is history. The future is a mystery, but the present is a gift. So open it. All right.
Thank you so much, because that goes in exactly what my motto is the past does not determine your future.
That's right. That's
So
right.
thank you. You have resonated and completed my
Wonderful.
my
And that's
affirmation.
good, because we have 30 seconds left, and we're going to give you a nice affirming round of applause one more time. Thank you, Jay, for coming
Thank
on
you,
and
Doctor.
sharing
You-
your
God
growth.
bless.
I love you
God
too. And that was the call-in episode for this month of April. Next week on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, we're going to talk about the difficult topic of addiction and focus on solution with Anaheim Lighthouse. So keep it here on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa Pay. That's P for positive, EI. Remember, it's all about balance. Peace in and peace out.
Dark it is before the dawn, for I am weak and he is strong. He lifts me up so I can see how dark it is.